Guys, welcome back to a brand new Disney Heroes Battle Mode video. And in this one, I saw Raid Cooper's comment and I wanted to jump in and give my say on Invasion. Now, okay, I haven't played Invasion this week, which is good because I can basically show you it from the start. Now, obviously, I haven't done any of it this week, as I said, so I want you to take this as in this is the first day Invasion has come out. And this is what I tend to do. So what I like to do with Invasion, obviously it's important to know what type of characters you have and stuff like that. And so obviously, okay, here we go. So how Invasion works. Obviously, everybody knows this. I'm not going to cover the basics. I'm going to cover my kind of top tips on just kind of breezing through this without even thinking about it. Now, of course, I think it normally runs for about 6 or 7 days. Of course, it's important to have a good team. That's kind of just straight off the bat obvious there. Not a huge amount more I can say, really. But I'm not really discussing anything guild related. This is more just you personally and my techniques. So obviously, guys, you get the mods from this, which you've attached your characters, and then you get all the mod powders, blah, 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 to further increase those mods. So the most important, and I should say easiest thing to do with this, over basically anything, is to just spam the breaker quest. Now they've added, obviously they've upped the tier now, so the characters will be a little bit harder because they'll scale up to the yellow now, which isn't majorly awful, to be fair, but you can see the yellow and you can obviously see that their special moves as well. So it's not anything major because obviously it scales to your level, so that's that really. So obviously if you're on a lower level than me, you're going to be having easier battles. So let's list off some of my top tips. My tip number 1 is on day 1 this shop is different. Now they do that to stop people spamming through it on day 1. So obviously every day grab your free power-ups, that's very self-explanatory. And then I always recommend using these credits that you get on hero power-ups only, because you get so many breakers. Now I never end up using all of my breakers because I get so many of them. I normally always get to the point where I can't progress unless I use like 15 breakers on one battle. So I tend to not buy the breakers and go the other way where I upgrade hero power, because if you upgrade your hero power, you're going to be able to auto quick fight the breaker quests without thinking about it, and you're going to be able to auto fight the bosses without thinking about it. So you're going to get 2 in 1 there, which is very, very important. So the most important thing to focus on is I recommend that you only ever quick fight. You put your best team on. Obviously, the best team is always going to be the ones that are fired up. Because as soon as you start upgrading them, their power level is going to excel. And when you auto fight, quick fight, whatever you want to call it, it uses your team power to calculate the win. So you need to bring your team power up as high as possible, which, yeah, is relatively easy. So what I recommend is, if you know that your 5 top characters, so obviously you can see, luckily the 5 I'm using on the yellow team, I have actually upgraded some relatively good characters to do this. So what I tend to do in here is not do the +1. Okay, yes, that would give 5 to Clawhauser, which is nice, but I'd rather buff up all 5 of my characters individually, because then each of their special traits are going to help out more than me just sticking 5 on Clawhauser. So going to max 3 out there. So here you can now see some characters. So they haven't quite overtaken Ducking Bunny yet, but they've moved up quite nicely. And Mulan is fantastic for guild mode or rockets. Obviously Clawhauser just with his donuts. Maximus never really dies, and Beast never really dies either. So then you just push quick fight, and it will do all 10 of these within a few seconds of each other, which is, once again, is always the most kind of important thing. It's just you want to be quick, easy, flying through this and not kind of ignoring it. So I've done all 8 there, and obviously doing all 8 of those has given me 8 breakers. So this is why I kind of say that you don't really need to worry about buying the breakers because you can get these quite easily. So obviously I'll just do another 50 just to show you for this video. I don't really ever recommend spending stamina on this type of energy because, you know, you get enough of it. But then obviously when you complete your quest wave, you get another 3 breakers. So it's all very easy and it's just a very simple pattern. I don't really have a huge amount of tips and tricks for you here, but obviously I've had a couple of requests, so I'm going to address it in a video. But it's just, this is a very, very simple mode. There's not a huge amount to worry about. Most of the stuff you need to bring in from this is just character knowledge. Who works well together? Who works well on breaker quests, who works well on on boss battles. So if I was to kind of give you a bit of a rundown on who I think is good and why and what type of character, the main types of characters you want to use on battles like this, guys, are characters that can hit everybody. Because as I go through and start to fire up Mulan, right, you're going to see that her rocket move is going to kill everybody immediately. So I always recommend Mulan heavily for invasion. I also recommend Ian heavily when obviously you can boost him up on the correct colour. It's always nice to have a healer into the team because I've noticed that when you quick fight with a healer, you always seem to never die. So all of your characters normally retain their max health. Maybe the quick fight considers the fact you've got a healer. I don't know the math behind the quick fight, but I've found out whenever I use a healer whilst quick fighting, there's never a lot of damage. So now this is the most important tip I want you to take away from this. This is very standard stuff what I'm showing you here. Just make sure you have your 5 top characters in at all times and quick fight. There's no point of doing the fights manually, guys. Just drop quick fight, get them all done. Speed, ease, completion, bang, nice and easy. So then, and Basil's quite good as well for boss fights because he attacks the single people with his dart. So when he throws his darts, they smash the boss's health down. So just kind of consider things like that, guys. How good characters are. Normally, if a character's good for arena mode, they'll be absolutely fine to chuck into invasion, no problem. So you need to remember, when we jump into here now, obviously mine are all on yellows, yours might not be. This is the most important tip I can give you here, guys, is when you do your boss battles, regardless if you're fighting your teammates one or your one, the most important thing is to not do this. You don't want to go, yeah, whatever, times 5 damage. You don't need to. You need to test the waters and learn how far you can go on ×1 damage, because you need to consider the supplies you're using. Now this is the biggest takeaway that I want you to take away from this video. Most of you should already know this. It's very basic, but I've been asked to make a video on this, so you know, I'm just trying to help out. So don't ever use your ×3 fight. And what I mean by that is you want to keep using your ×1 until you have to use 3 ×1s to kill a boss, then you might as well go for ×5. Because technically, when you do this, you're going to do ×3 damage. But when you do this one, you're using your ×3 damage and it's turning it into ×5 damage. So you only ever want to do that when you cannot complete this one in one raid. So I know for a fact, right, I can probably get through quite a lot of these without really thinking about it. And as I'm spamming through these, I'm gaining stamina. I'm gaining coins, so I can keep mixing matching. So now I've got 4 of the fire buffs. I've now got 4. I'm gonna have 5 now. So as I'm just peacefully tapping through this, I'm gaining more energy. I'm gaining more fire or boosts or power-ups. So as I go through, it's gonna just get easier. Okay, yes, it gets to a ridiculous cutoff point, but as I go through here, everything's just going to get easier, 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 getting more stamina, which is going to give me more breakers, which is going to give me more firepower. So it's a very, very easy loop, and basically this is only a one take thing. Normally you could just hit it for one day and then you're done, really, because you're going to get your stamina back. You're going to get your breakers back as you go. You're going to get your stamina back, you're going to get your breakers. Stamina, breakers, fire. Just constantly from these bosses. And you can see that I'm doing ×1 damage. ×1 damage. times 1. And what you can do, 'cause I know for a fact I'm not going to struggle for a while, but if you don't have incredible characters, see, then I'm going to buy 12 of the boosters there, and that's going to further increase me. So now, say I ran out of breakers and I'm struggling a bit, I can jump back onto here, and now I've got 225 stamina, so I can put 21 boosters onto there. I can quick fight. Now I know, because I've hit the boss so much and got so many breakers, I know I'm going to be able to fly, absolutely fly and devour my way through this, getting even more breakers each time. So now I've got another 4, and every time you finish this, you're going to get 4 fire, and I think you get like 3 breakers, somewhere around there, every time you finish a whole wave. So this is really where you're going to see the increase in power, because another quest wave completed, and it becomes very, very easy just to rinse and repeat this. So as far as tips goes, guys, I do not really have a huge amount for you, but now I can go back into here, and I've got 30 more breakers to keep going single on, and I can power them up again. So you see my point here, guys. So this is very easy. Quick fire again. It's just 1, 2, 1, 2. That's it. Just over, over and over again. It's going to sort all this out for you. 1. So just keep going, keep going, keep going until you get to that stage where you cannot physically win anymore, which is always very, very high for me. So I'm not going to sit here and just make this video go on for 20 minutes of me doing this. But my point is, guys, there's not a huge amount of tips and tricks for this mode, because it's very, very straight line. You just do the same thing every week, and there's not really any advice I can give you apart from what I've done. Make sure you've got a healer in your team. Only use your top 5 characters, because at the end of the day, you just want to be quick fighting, I think. You don't need to play this at all. You know, that's kind of my advice for you. Don't waste your time on this mode, because you really don't need to. It's very, very easy to just endlessly spam through. Endless, endless, endless stuff. Don't even worry about it. Don't even think about it. Just keep clicking. Keep clicking. And as soon as you get into a struggle, use your times 3. That's my advice for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'm curious for you guys to comment. Let me know if there's anything on invasion mode that you recommend, any tips that you use, any tricks that you use. But it's a very straight shooting mode, so there's not a huge amount of ways you can approach it, things you can do. So, you know, in the space of what, 12 minutes, I've got to tier 35 without thinking about it. So that's what I mean, guys. You don't want to waste the opportunity to earn supplies from this mode, but it's very, very, it's a bit of a boring mode, really, I think. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. Comment down below and let me know your tips and tricks, guys. And I'll see you beautiful people in the next one.